Hi, welcome to the second video in this series on writing compiler. We're going to set up the project right now because in the first video, we just designed the programming language and we used the Om editor to do it. And we came up with a little programming language called Pigeon with a small set of features. It's a nice little scripting language and everything. Okay, arrays, functions, keywords, string literals, even some types on function parameters and function return values with type inference on local variable declarations. But now it's time to actually build a repository on GitHub, and let's build a command line app. So our programming language is called Pigeon. So let's just say that we're making a compiler for Pigeon, I suppose. Public repo, add a README, add a git ignore for Node because it's going to be a JavaScript app. Let's go with MIT for the license. Hit create repository. And now that that is done, it's time to clone the repo. So let's copy our URL. Let's clone it here. Hit clone, paste the value. We'll go into the folder and fire up VS Code. Okay, VS Code is up and running in this new folder. Let's start building a JavaScript application. npm init -y, that will create package.json for us. And we want to use modern JavaScript, so let's remember to get type module in there. First thing we do whenever we create a new JavaScript program, because we don't want to use old-fashioned JavaScript. I think this is going to be pigeon.js for the main program. I guess 1.0.0 is okay. I think we had the license was MIT. And we're going to be using Om for this. So let's install Om.js. That's going to plop itself in there as a dependency. Yes, we want version 17 or above. At the time of this recording, 17 is the most current. Okay, and then for testing, let's install Mocha and C8. Put those in as development dependencies. As soon as they're downloaded, they will go in. There they are. There's C8 and Mocha, and that's going to be our test script. So C8 and Mocha here. Let's save that. Okay, now we're ready to go. Let's scaffold our project. Let's create two folders, source and test. So two folders made here. And inside of source, we'll put in our compiler.js. And inside of test, we'll put in compiler.test.js. And here's how it looks. Source and test. There we go. Okay, so what are things gonna look like? Well, let's build up a compiler in our source folder. So we'll build right here our export default compile. And our compiler, what's the compiler going to do? I guess it's going to take in some source code. Yeah, this is not helpful. Default function compile. VS Code is always trying to be helpful. Compile our source code, and we'll just return it works. That's a good start. And in our test, let's set up our test project. So describe, we're going to describe here. We'll say the compiler, because we're going to be doing some compiler tests. And what should we say in here? Well, let's text that it actually is alive. So compiler is alive, And the test that we're going to do there is we're going to make a call to compile and assert that that is equal to, okay. You know what? VS Code is just really kind of annoying sometimes. If you insert first, which would be a little bit helpful, let's import built-in node assert, and we'll import our compile function because that's what it is that we're testing. This came in from our source folder inside of compiler.js. Okay, now we can assert. There we go. Now it says assert.equal. That's what we want to see. And we'll say that if we compile something, maybe we'll compile something like the string that says print hello. We can just say that after doing that, I think I wrote down something like it works. I don't remember exactly what I said, but let's give this a shot. Now, since in our package.json, we set up our test script to do C8 and Mocha, npm test likely will be okay. Oh, sure, look, it is. It says the compiler is alive and we have 100% test coverage. If I had gotten this wrong, it sort of works. Just so you can see what Mocha and C8 look like in case these things are new to you. I can run over here and you can see that we're getting an insertion error. We can say it works versus it sort of works was not what we wanted. So we can get things working like this. It sort of works. Okay, we now have a compiler that we can that we can test. All right. Now, the next step would be to actually flesh out the compiler itself. The compiler is probably going to have several different phases, right? And most of the time, the phases of compiler, I mean, there are several. Like we're going to be looking at the following. First, we want to take the source code and parse it. So we'd like to parse the source code, and then we'll get back a concrete syntax tree, which is sometimes called a match. Okay, and then after we get the match, the next thing we'd like to do is like to analyze it, and that gives us sort of our intermediate representation, sometimes called the IR, and this can be done by analyzing the match. The intermediate representation is then optimized. So we'll take the optimized program, and then we're going to eventually have an optimizer in here, optimize the IR. And then we will finally generate the target code at the end, maybe something like return generated optimized code. So this is what we're looking forward to have. And it's just a matter of putting all that together. And those are the things we're going to do in the next video. Okay, this was a short one. Next up is going to be the parser. Thanks for watching. See ya.